Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
We interrupt this broadcast for a special bulletin, an ultimatum, a kidnapped Toreador primogen, and a message designed to sow discord. Within the vampiric society of the Camarilla, a recent communique is stirring unrest, particularly in Germany. The message was disseminated through encrypted channels on Saturday evening. The Bruja known as Victoria from the Berlin domain has leveled grave accusations and issued a demand that is difficult to ignore. So let's hear what happened over the last year and why this new letter brings some spice into the situation.
Last year, during this Camarilla's grand gathering at the monastery, a shocking revelation came to light. It was revealed one of the elder of Clan Ventru and reigning prince of the Bremen domain had committed diablerie on none other than the torpid body of the Ventru Justicar Ariston. In her defense, she claimed to have been lured by deceptive and seductive voices which guided her to the resting place of the Justicar. Once there, she said, she could no longer resist the temptation of his blood, and committed the act. When confronted, she accused the Malkavian elders from the domains of Hamburg and Berlin of using blood powers to manipulate her mind. However, she would only agree to undergo an investigation into the potential corruption of Ariston's soul only if she was allowed to keep the powers she had absorbed from him. The Malkavian elders vehemently denied the accusations and warned that blaming their clan yet again was becoming a dangerous habit within the Camarilla. That very night, a so-called peace treaty was signed to ensure no major acts of aggression between the domains until the next gathering, giving the Camarilla time to find a resolution. But to this day, little progress has been made. Even a smaller meeting earlier this year ended without meaningful outcomes and failed to bring any clarity to the situation. Now, a letter from the Bruja Victoria from Berlin was sent around this Saturday after the gathering of the domain of Berlin. With the letter came a picture of a staked body. Victoria claims to have kidnapped Sam Hall, an elder of Clan Toreador, and threatens to execute him during the upcoming gathering in the monastery. Unless, she says, the Camarilla passes judgment and delivers punishment to one of the two Malkavian elders and rulers of the domain of Berlin and Hamburg, in a way that permanently breaks their alliance. Her ultimatum is clear. If no punishment is carried out by midnight on the first night of the gathering, Sam Hall will die. And if anyone who calls themselves Victoria's ally is seriously harmed, Sam will also die.
What sounded like a threat quickly became something much more calculated. Victoria, a well-known and long-standing figure within the Camarilla, isn't hiding. She's standing by her actions and has granted HiddenTV an exclusive interview. What motivates her? Why she believes this act is justified? And what she expects from the Camarilla? All of that coming up next.
She says she was never made to be a hero, so she chose to become the villain. In an exclusive interview with HiddenTV, Victoria speaks openly about her motives and about the deep exhaustion she feels in a world that refuses to change. You fear death? Suffering? Being alone? She asks. But aren't you already living in fear? In stagnation? Betraying yourselves and each other? For Victoria, fear isn't the enemy. It's the test. And she sees herself as a tool, forcing the Camarilla to finally take action. She talks about a system that has grown blind to its own decay, about a desire for change that many secretly share, but no one dares to say out loud, and about the price that must be paid before anything can truly shift. Sam Hall, the kidnapped Toreador elder, isn't the point. He's a trigger. This isn't about him. It's not about the Malkavians. It's about you and what you choose to take from this moment. Her ultimatum is more than a threat. It's a mirror, reflecting the state of the Camarilla and the decisions its members have long avoided. In the end, she leaves them with one message. This is your chance. Step through it, or stay exactly where you are, like always.
Let's go. This is your radio. This is your radio. station.
While she gives out something to think of, other reacted already. In the domain of Hamburg, Victoria and all her supporters are to arrest the moment they step in. So let's hear what our spokespersons have to say to this.
Honestly, this isn't a voice of change. It's simple blackmail. You can't threaten someone's life and pretend you're the moral compass of the entire Camarilla.
And I know that stagnation is no foundation for peace. Maybe we need beer. So we finally make a damn choice.
But not like this. Not with a gun pointed at the head of an elder. She talks about courage, but she acts out in fear. This isn't revolution. This is hostage-taking.
Or maybe it's consequence. Victoria isn't claiming to be a hero. She's not lying about that. But she's hitting a nerve. And if we keep pretending everything is fine, maybe the kidnapped elder dies. But what else dies if we do nothing?
I don't know. But I do know that violence is no foundation of order. And Victoria's so-called freedom is just fear under a different name.
And what if that's exactly what we need? Someone finally saying out loud what everyone's thinking. The Camarilla is in shambles since the elder killed the fucking Justicar. No one's taking responsibility. Victoria is forcing us to choose.
Then I hope you can live with that choice.
You want the full interview? No problem, we got you covered. Write us to get the full side of her story at hiddenxtv@gmail.com. We will provide you with everything you need. And last but not least, our short news.
Ghoul surge in Westphalia-Lippe. Reports continue to surface of unattended ghouls wandering aimlessly through the domain of Westphalia-Lippe. Concerns are rising. Is the current security structure still up to the task? No change in Berlin's offices. There have been no changes to the current office holders in Berlin. However, Miss Wildenroth has announced her intent to serve as assistant to the despotia. Mysterious blood delivery at the Elysium. A 40-liter pig blood shipment was anonymously delivered to Elysium's front entrance, complete with party note and glass bottles. The Tremere are offended, the rats are thriving, and the concierge is done. Suspects include everyone except the Nosferatu, who would never be that obvious. Nosferatu demand better Wi-Fi in sewers. In an official complaint, several Nosferatu declared the domain's Undercity network an insult to 21st century undead. Threats include leaking everyone's feeding schedules and cat videos annotated in Latin.
And like always, that concludes our news show, brought to you by Hidden TV. You want your story or advertisement in our show? You want the full story or the interview? Visit us at hiddentv.de or write us at hiddenxtv@gmail.com and we will share it to you for free. Hidden TV, because the Camarilla and Sabat never getting boring.
Let's go. This is your radio, your station.